So, hi. This is my first YouTube video. My name is Jennifer Way. I am an intuitive consultant, and I'm super nervous right now. So anyway, I wanted to make this video because I think that it's easier for me to kind of just explain where I'm coming from in terms of intuition, my perspective on anything and all things spiritual, channeling, all the weird, crazy stuff. I know there's been a lot of stuff about this out there. There's so much stuff on the internet. It's even coming into our actually daily lives. I saw something on Goop on Netflix yesterday. Intuition is a word that we use to really describe kind of like an inner knowing. It's something we all have. I wanted to make this video because a lot of where I came from on my journey to become a channeler or someone with psychic ability, a lot of that started out with just a real big curiosity about it, but a secret curiosity because it was embarrassing and it's crazy. And I grew up thinking that these people who did things like this were fakes, were totally faking it. Because that's just kind of the culture I grew up in. You know, we live in a world of ghost hunters and ancient aliens and a lot of horror movies and things that are really, really scary. A lot of our stories, a lot of us have grown up with dark stories within our families. A lot of us have weird dreams. Some of us have experiences with evil spirits even. There's a lot of fear surrounding it. And my first introduction to, I guess, believing that this was all actually real came about in a very funny way. I also believe that humor is a huge way to kind of break through. We need it. Like, what the hell? I guess that I want to try to convince you. I want to try to convince you that you actually have psychic ability. We're all born into this instrument of being human. We've heard stories about, little kids saying creepy things to their parents. We've heard them talk about how, they picked them out like in a supermarket. I remember hearing stories about kids talking about their past lives, These are abilities we're actually all born with, but we're very much socialized out of. Ancient civilizations actually were not conditioned out of these abilities. So their perceptions are different. Their consciousness was different than ours is right now because everything is very confined to a very particular belief system. And we're trapped. We're trapped in that when you can actually be free and just listen to your inner voice. A lot of psychics and intuitives are very strong in their clairs. Clairvoyance, I'm sure you've heard of that. Clairaudience. Clairvoyance is clear sight. Clair means clear. Clairaudience is clear hearing. What you might not realize is that sometimes clairs don't mean, if someone is clairvoyant, for example, you've heard about, the Long Island medium and, they can see spirit or aliens, or whatever you want to think about, they can see them right in front of them. The other kind of clairaudience and clairvoyance is actually in here. It's in your inner sight. It's in your third eye. That is actually how I perceive my extrasensory ability. My abilities come through, unfortunately, like my imagination, which that's why it took so long for me to understand what it really was, because I just thought I was either crazy or I was making it up. It took a long time and putting a lot of effort into it through meditation, through just internal exploration to understand that there are things that I'm seeing that are not coming from me. And the only thing I can tell you is that it just takes practice. It takes understanding everything internally as much as possible. It takes looking at your emotional triggers during the day. It takes observation, and it comes slowly. You have to want to do this. observing yourself where you have a strong emotional reaction. That's usually a big red flag. Not a negative one necessarily, but it's like an arrow pointing you in the direction of something that you need to follow, to listen to. A lot of times there's a lot of fear that is preventing us from seeing these things clearly. There's a lot of wisdom coming through. A lot of that wisdom is, you may have heard, coming from your crown chakra. Almost freaking forgot. So it's coming from your crown chakra. I like to refer to this as a soul stream, and I'm sure I've heard this from other psychics and other YouTube videos. Ones who I love, Gigi Young, for example, Vitika Kulhoff, Bashar. It's endless. Channeling Eric, big shout out. A lot of people understand this, at least in my perception, that we've got kind of a soul stream. And what I do as an intuitive consultant is I kind of take a little like zip, and I kind of tap into that soul stream. That soul stream, there's intertwined wisdom, including very much from your higher self. We're all channeling all the time. It is both us and it is other. I don't like to get too specific with who I'm talking to, unless I'm getting a very clear picture in my third eye. I think when you're just starting out to explore intuition or anything like this, it's just simpler, and this is my recommendation, it's just simpler to think of it as other. And it's only through practice you'll be able to separate. You only have two categories to separate into: other and me, you. So get going on that, and then you can start, if you wish to, explore who the hell you're talking to. I don't want to scare people away, because I'm talking to you. I'm talking to skeptics. I'm talking to people who kind of heard about it. Maybe they're a little curious. They're not really sold on it. I'm talking to you because I was you. I definitely lost a lot of friends when I started doing this. It was a little bit of like, oh, yeah, this is Jen. She's over the limit. She's gone. Like, this is it. So, but the wisdom that comes through my intuition and when I'm reading for other people, it's undeniable. It had to take a long time to get there. So I just want to tell you that we all have ability. It's in degrees. It's a spectrum. And it also depends on if that's something that you want to explore. That's a huge part of it. People talk a lot about intention or prayer or meditation. To me, it is really all the same thing. I know you might have a different opinion about that. Bottom line, just mean it. That's it. Just mean it. If you mean it really deep down, then things will happen for you. If you think you mean it and you're putting an intention out there, or you want to manifest something, and it's not happening, then there's something in your subconscious. There's something in there that is resisting the attraction of either wisdom or, there's so many reasons why you might not be getting things. You have to be patient. You have to kind of loosen your expectations a little. And if you're really confused and you don't want to talk to any ghosts or anything like that, then hire someone to do it. I'm also a huge fan of cognitive behavioral therapy. The reason I bring this up is because a big part of listening to your intuition is understanding, and I said the word before, triggers. I got to come up with a new word for that. I don't like that word, trigger. The word trigger triggers me. I don't like it anymore. Something that gives you a big, deep, almost automatic emotional reaction. A lot of times these things are based on belief systems that you've had, that you developed as a child. I often talk about this as, you build a structure for yourself as a child, especially if you're in a situation where you need to survive and you need to learn how to protect yourself. You build this structure and it's for protection. This structure is ideas about the world, beliefs about the world, about yourself. It comes from you trying to protect yourself. It comes from your parents. It comes from the environment, all those things. But as you grow up, this becomes a cage and it restricts you. we make our own reality. I'm sure that's something you've heard if you're into any of this spiritual new age stuff. And it really is the truth. It really is how you sort of understand things, how you understand yourself. It's really important I'm just checking the time. I've never done this before. I don't know how long it's going to take for you to get super bored, but hopefully, hopefully I won't have to edit too much. Oh my God, why am I? Anyway, I think it's just very important to listen to your own voice. I think communication, sorry, there's a black cat just right outside my window. I think communication is a really important start. And the basis of any good communication is internal communication. Talking to yourself, asking yourself why you're feeling a certain way. Why did this bring this up for me? And then going into that, finding love for yourself. There's so many processes online that you can look up to do it. But again, cognitive behavioral therapy is also a really great tool. I'm always going to be a fan of therapy, anything that helps you. I am not a therapist. I am not a psychologist. I am not a psychiatrist. I am not a social worker. But I honestly believe that if you combine all different kinds of things, if you're searching for help, if you're searching for understanding yourself or getting yourself into a better place, I think that complementary things are the way to go. I think you just try everything and see what works for you. What I can offer and what other intuitives offer is a peek inside you on a level that is really personal. As I go on and make more YouTube videos, they're going to be a little ranty and they're going to be long because I'm not down with this whole spirituality marketing of spirituality. I have also stopped using the word coach. It doesn't resonate with me anymore. What this is about is it's about evolution. It's about personal growth. It's about taking responsibility for yourself. And your intuition is going to give you this guidance that you're not going to be able to get from anybody else because it's coming from within and it's coming from these guys up here. Again, like I said, I'm not going to get into specifics about what I'm talking to. Do I want to talk about aliens? I know I'm going to scare you away if I do. Do I believe in aliens? Fuck yeah, I believe in aliens. Do I experience them? I see them when I close my eyes. I see them all the time. But I don't want to talk to them yet. I'm not there yet. Again, we all have our own path. Right now, I know that I get wisdom from them coming in. It's just, I'm not sure that going there right now at this point in my own spiritual growth, because I do not claim to be an expert. I do not claim to be any kind of guru. What I can do is be a mentor. I can share with you these experiences that I have with multidimensional beings. My experiences are only mine. And how do I know they're real? I've done a fuck ton of work trying to get to the truth within me. One of the last things that I'll talk about, and I'll try to wrap it up, is that discernment is one of the main sort of concepts you will come across in growing your own intuition. Discernment is your ability to tell whether something is true for you, and it's very personal. Spirituality is personal. That's why the marketing stuff it just like turns me off, and I can't with it because it twists things for me. It doesn't resonate. It doesn't ring true for me. And I couldn't really understand that until I learned more about myself. I learned that I cannot watch horror movies because those images will stick in my head. I'm very sticky. Like things will stick, and I don't want to be influenced by that. I don't need more fear. I've been going through my fear one by one, and they continue to come up. But as I come across one, I just kind of work through it. Again, this is about taking responsibility for your feelings, understanding your feelings, understanding your reactions, and really trying to get to a better place where you're not hurting yourself anymore and you're not hurting anybody else. So I think that's kind of as far as I want to go, because I could go really far. I wrote like way too much, but I didn't really read any of the things that I wrote. So hopefully this resonates. It's going to be another key hashtaggy Instagram-y kind of word. Resonates I like because it's about your vibrational frequency. We are energy and all that stuff. So hopefully I've either talked about stuff that you've never really listened to before, or I'm telling you the same old shit that you've been hearing from everybody else on YouTube. Either way, I'm really happy to get this started. I'm happy to talk to you directly. You can go to my website. It's www.jenniferway.com. My Instagram is @thejenniferway. It's WAI. And I'd love to talk to you more about this. And I will be. I will be making more videos, and hopefully you get something from them. And if you don't get anything from this, fucking don't worry about it. If you do get something from this, I'd love for you to subscribe, figure out this YouTube thing. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I appreciate your time. And I appreciate your eyes. Thank you so much. And I will talk to you very soon.